Okay, so let's try to create a square tile. Create new, and you want to go to letter 8.5 by 11 or some even inches so that you have a paper to work with. You want to make sure that when you go to window that you have your workspace at Essential Classic. Make sure that the layers are turned on. View, you want to go down and make sure your smart guides are on. Show grid and view snap to grid. Okay, that'll give you a little bit more guidance when you're doing these. Okay, your colors are here. You don't need those right away. And then we're going to make a square. So again, the rectangle tool, I can just hold the shift key down, okay, and I will make a square. And I'll go grid to grid so it's 2 by 2. If that's not big enough for you, you can always make it bigger and then shrink it down later. So I'm going to make it a little bigger. I'll make it 3 by 3 so I have something to work with. I'm going to go to my arrow on the left, and then I'm going to lock that layer so my square is not going anywhere. Okay. So now I'm going to add a new layer down below here, create new layer, and I'm going to do some sort of design on one end, and I'm going to move that to the other side. I'm going to translate it across. So, excuse me. So let's go to the pen tool. All right, make sure it's on pen tool. Start a little bit above. Okay, so I'm going to go start a little bit on that line to the left. Okay, now if you want something just simple, zigzaggy, not very interesting, just go from the top of the square to the bottom of the square. Once you've got what you want, hit escape, go to that arrow, see if it fits where you want it. Okay, you can always zoom in and see what's going on right there. Now I can see that the top fits great, the bottom did not fit. So what I need to do is I need to go to the right arrow and take that anchor point back over to the edge. Okay, so now I can see that my left and my top and bottom fit perfectly. So I want to move that. I want to transform it, move it to the other side, and notice it's going to go just over to the right. Two ways to do it. I can select all, and I can copy and paste and slide it over. That's one way to do it. Okay, it'll snap to grid. I can do it that way. I can also do it a different way. I can select it all. I can go up to Object, Transform, and move it. And since I'm moving it horizontally 3 inches, I would just hit 3 inches here. And let's preview where it's going to go. There it is. And I copy. So I can do it that way too. I need to do something on the top and bottom. I might want to do something a little different. Pencil tool is right underneath the rectangle tool. So again, I'm going to start on the left side. I'm going to do something wiggly squiggly. You want to make them interesting, but you're going to have to play with it and see if it's anything you like. Let's scoot that down. Let's see what's going. It should snap to the grid. Okay, the left one is right where it's supposed to be. The right one is not. So again, I need to click on this on the right arrow, and I need to take that anchor point and move it. Oops, not the whole thing, just that anchor point. Oh, come on, you. Anchor point. Just that last little anchor point he needs to move. Okay? So now I've got top and bottom, left and right, and I need to move that piece down. So we can do, get on the left arrow. Let's make sure we select all of that. Okay, let's click on it. Let's see if it'll take it. Copy it, paste it. Let's see if it does something terribly wrong. Let's see, get it snapping to grid right there. Zoom in, make sure it connects. On the other side, make sure it connects. That's a little off, so we need to make sure it gets right on that edge. Okay, see how it's cleaner that way? Make sure it's cleaner on the right too. Okay, it should be right up against there. Okay, so now I've got my shape, my tessellation shape, and so I want to make sure they're all joined together. So I'm going to select all of them, holding my shift key down. Select each of your zigzaggy things, go up to Object, path, join. And so now when I'm on the left arrow, I should be able to move that, and it's going to be one continuous piece. So I want to get rid of my first layer, which was the square. So go to layer 1 and unlock it and delete it. And now I have my template, my layer 2. Let's get that guy to move. Okay, and I want to move him. I want to play with him. So let's see if we can get him to do what we want him to do. Okay, come on. Let's move him up here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is if I line it up left and right in the grid, I will see that from the left to the right it's 3 inches, which is lovely because then if I want to select everything, let's make a color. Let's make the first one green. And then the stroke should be the slash. Okay, so let's say I want to take this, select it, and I want to object, transform, move it to the right, so more horizontally, 3 inches, nothing vertically. Okay, and this should be a 3. Okay, and it's a 0 degree angle. Let's see where it's going to go. Okay, preview it. All right, so it's going to do what it wants to do. We're going to copy that, and it hooks up exactly, but we want the second copy to be a different color so we can actually see what's going on. Okay? Now, I can do it again, but this time I'm going to go top to bottom. So I'm going to move it 3 inches below. So let's select, let's get it right up on a grid. So this one right here to that one. Let's see, that's not going to be a good, let's see if we can do it. Let's take the two of them together and let's object transform. Let's move, but this time let's move them down, which would be vertically 3 inches. Nothing horizontally. Distance, that's still 3 inches. Don't worry about that. And the angle this time going down is -90. Let's see where it's going to go. Oop, right there. Let's copy it. Bam. Okay, so 3 inches actually took away more than I wanted. That's okay. So what it means is I'm going to just have to adjust it by hand. And let's switch colors because then I can exactly see what's going on with my tessellation. So let's take both of these guys and let's move them up into there. Ta-da! So there is my tessellation. Now what I can do to show more of the plane is I can select everything again. So select it all, hold the shift key down in the lower right corner. I can squash it down a little bit because this is when if you want to then copy it. Okay, so I can copy and paste. I've got another set that'll go right there. And what's really nifty is once I get a bunch of them, I can now copy and paste going up and down. And I should be able to, and I think I just missed where I wanted them to go. Let's see, yeah. You should be able to get them right in there where they're supposed to go. You're probably more nimble than I am with this stuff. Okay, so take them all together, and that will, you can continue to do that one by one, or you can do the whole group at once. And that's tiling the plane. Okay, so you get an idea of how this is supposed to work, how you're going to fit together all these pieces. Try to keep the gaps to a minimum. I know it's a little tricky when you're working with an online program, but they should, if you've done something simple, it should tile the plane. It should do what it's doing up here. Mine down below isn't being as cooperative. That's probably my fault. But that is using the square tessellation, okay? Now, one thing you're going to have to do before, if this is the one you love, and you look at it and you go, ooh, I see a juggling baboon on a bicycle, and you're going to print this and color it up so it's what you want it to be. Say this is the one that you really like and you want to have this one cut out of the wood. So what you would need to do is copy one of them, make a new file. Okay, make yourself a new file, letter, template, the whole thing, and that is the one you're going to cut. Okay, now I would make it a little larger because, so shift key down, drag it a little larger. That's the one you're going to do, and to make it go to the laser cutter, it needs to be saved as a PDF. Save as, give it a name, square, tile, and your name, so we know where it's going. Save it to your desktop. It should be a PDF, and hit save again. Now it's there, so I'm ready to grab it when I have to send it to the laser cutter, and I'll show you how to do that later. So this is the first one I'm going to give you. Okay.